In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I made my first short film. If you've seen my previous video, you'll know that I am a beginner filmmaker on my way to becoming a pro filmmaker. And I wanted to share that journey with you because I feel like all the pros share their process, but none of the beginners share their progress. And I like to see progress in real time. So why not share that with you? Backing up to the beginning of 2022, that's when I really started taking filmmaking and screenwriting seriously. Became obsessed with the process of filmmaking. So I started doing a bunch of research, reading a lot of books, listening to Audible, because physically reading a book with my lack of an attention span is incredibly tedious. And I started watching countless hours of YouTube videos on story and structure. After filling my empty vessel of a brain with valuable filmmaking information, I became incredibly inspired and magnificently motivated. I felt that I had enough information and enough confidence to start writing my own short. Notice I said writing and not making, because my original goal for 2022 was to just write a short film, because I honestly didn't think that I could complete one. Clearly, I underestimated myself. So now it's September 2022 and my good friend Justin and I decided to get this thing done. I decided to make a horror short because Halloween was coming up and, well, duh. I knew I had to come up with an interesting concept, but a simple one. A guy home alone experiencing hallucinations because of some sketchy medicine that he picked up earlier. I had my concept. Now I needed to structure my story. So I FaceTimed Justin and asked him to help me work out the beats of the story. So after about 2 hours of sitting there like SpongeBob and Patrick, we had this thing mapped out. After that, I got to work on my masterpiece of a script. No, I didn't really do that. What I actually did was stop. Listen, I know that sounds counterproductive, but hear me out. I allowed the story to kind of marinate in my mind for a few days, and then I began writing. This works for me in my process because it allows me to step away and not overthink, which is something I still do to this very moment. I originally had a deadline of September 28th for the first draft, but I actually got it done 2 weeks earlier. I showed it to my wife, she loved it. I sent it to Justin, he loved it. So again, I let it marinate for about a day, and then I got to work on a second draft. Here's where things get tricky. You see, I didn't really do a second draft. I just tweaked the first draft without making any major revisions. Not because it was necessarily that good, I was just being lazy, which I definitely regret. Because after making those tweaks, I jumped right into a shot list. I was marking up the draft to the point that it was unrecognizable, notes and scribbles everywhere. And after starting on that shot list, I started to notice problems with my story. I had too many shots. And I had too many shots because I had too many plot points. So I immediately stopped working on the shot list and got to work on the real second draft. I combined certain plot points into one, took out some of the redundancies, and tightened up some dialogue. The second draft was now complete. So I tried again to get to work on a shot list, which is extremely tedious for me at least. And after some technical difficulties with my computer at the time and some personal family issues, I made the decision to abandon the shot list because I was getting close to shoot day. Now, I do not recommend skipping the shot list. I only did it because I had the tough choice of skipping the shot list or delaying the shoot day, which was really not an option because I had to get this thing out before Halloween. So I chose the former because I had a good idea of what I wanted to shoot and how I wanted to shoot it. But in the future, I will absolutely be making a shot list. It will make my life so much easier. Make the shot list. So shoot day had arrived, and it ran up on me like a blue hedgehog in red shoes. Although this project only involved Justin, my wife, and myself, I was scared as hell. I did not want to fail, especially in front of two people who I really admire. But I think it's safe to say that my excitement for success outweighed my fear of failure. So I gathered my limited equipment and my microscopic crew and got to filming. I used my beginner's DSLR camera, this Canon EOS 800D, which is the same thing as the Rebel T7i, a couple of cheap LED lights that I got on Amazon, and my iPhone 12, which I am currently making this video on. Now, I have two small children who love the sounds of their own voices, so we had to record late at night while they were asleep. And I'm fortunate enough to have my mother living with me so she could watch them while they went to sleep. We started shooting at around 9:30 because we had just had dinner before. Note, feed your crew. Justin was willing to do this for free, but I still fed him. If you don't have any money, at least have access to some food. Now, because I didn't have a shot list, I ran into a few problems with lighting and audio, which could have been avoided had I made a shot list. But this is where my director's mind comes in. I didn't have enough light for an outside shot, nor did I have access to an outside outlet for my LED lights. So I just used a flashlight, and it worked perfectly. It looked just like moonlight. Another problem I ran into was sound. So there were a few shots where I had to record the sound separately and add it in post during the edit. And again, it worked out. No one was able to tell until I told them exactly what shots had separate audio. All in all, the shoot didn't go quite as smoothly or as quickly as I wanted it to, but I kept a level head and we got it done. We didn't finish until about 2:15 a.m. After we wrapped the shoot, I took a day or two to pat myself on the back and refocus myself for the edit. Now, this edit brought a few challenges of its own. First, my computer was unbelievably slow. I had trouble just opening up Premiere Pro, let alone allowing me to actually edit something on it. I'd had it for almost 8 years and it had just started to move all tortoise-like. So I think that's pretty good considering how long I had it. After realizing that I couldn't edit it on my beloved desktop and not having access to another computer, I figured, hey, I can edit it on my phone. I edit YouTube videos on my phone, so this is no different. Now, I did have some trouble transferring the clips from my camera to my phone, but I was determined to figure this thing out. And after doing some quick research on some apps to help me do it, I finally figured it out. It took me about 3 hours to edit from start to finish, including adding the original music that I had composed during the writing stage. I had a completed short film. I uploaded it to YouTube a few days before Halloween, and the rest is history. From conception to completion, it took about 6 weeks to complete. 6 of the most exciting weeks of my life. I had finally done something that I had always wanted to do. Lessons I learned making my first short film. Give yourself a little more time. If I had given myself about 2 more weeks of planning, my short film would have been much better. That being said, I'm glad I had a limited amount of time because it enhanced my sense of urgency to get it done. As the legendary producer Quincy Jones once said, paralysis through analysis. Next, make a shot list. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. It will make the shoot immensely easier. Making a shot list not only helps you visualize your concept, but also to help you foresee problems that may occur. Make a shot list. Next, get over yourself. No one cares about you making a fool of yourself. Most people genuinely want to see other people succeed, and you can't succeed if you don't complete the task. Just getting it done is a success in itself. If it sucks, but you got it done, and now you know how to make it better. As the old saying goes, failure is not an option. I didn't really understand that until I was writing the script for this video. If you get it done, you didn't fail. Therefore, failure was never an option. It's literally that simple. If you want to see my short film, check it out right here. In the meantime, I'm gonna go write some more movies.